and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News. Good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. I'm trying to figure out literally how to share my post because I have, as you guys know, if you've been listening to me for a while, I have been switching up my streaming services. And so, yeah. Okay, StreamYard. You're a little bit better, slightly. Only because I can see my stream, especially in my X profile. However, I can't see it with EVMux. So here's the thing. I'm sure there's a way for it to happen in EVMux. I just haven't quite figured it out yet, right? So bear with me as I share the stream, as I'm talking to y'all right now, right? Because it's weird, but I can't see it. And I, for anybody out there that, streams their broadcasts or does anything like what I'm doing, you probably know what I'm talking about. And it's weird. Again, I'm going to figure this out. All right. We'll figure this out together because it's us, right? It's me and you and all this technology, just trying to get it right every week. So again, thank you so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. Again, my name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. And with that, let's get into our Kids Corner.
In a small village by the river, there lived a young boy named Jason. He was curious about everything, but often felt confused about what kind of person he wanted to be. One day, Jason approached an old man sitting under a tree. He asked, "Grandpa, how do I decide what kind of person I want to be?" The old man smiled and said, "Inside every person, there are two wolves. One is angry, selfish, and full of hate. The other is kind, patient, and full of love. They are always fighting. The one you feed more is the one that wins." Jason walked to the riverbank and thought about the old man's words. Decided to feed the kind wolf by being honest, helpful, and caring. From that day, Jason started sharing, helping others, and staying positive. People noticed and began admiring him for his kindness. Years later, Jason sat under the same banyan tree, sharing the story of the two wolves with a younger boy. He said, "Decide the type of person you want to be and feed that wolf every day. The type of person you become depends on the choices you make every day. Choose kindness, love, and patience."
Yeah. Again, I think that can apply to all of us because I'm definitely going to be bringing some articles to you guys today. So just remember to keep this in mind. Whatever you feed is what is going to guide the person that you are. And it makes total sense. It really does. But that's the reason why, I like doing Kids Corner because it just, it's a part of just setting our hearts right for the day. And also for our young listeners, thank you guys for listening in. And I hope I'm doing well by your parents, right? Making sure that I'm giving you guys proper information as well. I know sometimes I get a little excited, I get a little passionate, but I always want to make sure that I'm giving proper um, information to you guys. I don't want you to ever feel led astray or lied to. So, with that, let's get into our prayer for the morning, honoring God with our body. God, please guard our mind and our thoughts. God, help me to fix my thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. So I will think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. God, please protect my ears and help me to listen to your voice. God, help me to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. God, please protect our eyes from sin's damage. God, I make a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. God, please speak life over our mouth. God, set a guard over my mouth. Lord, keep watch over the doors of my lips. God, please help our hands to serve generously. God, help me to do good to everyone and especially to those who belong to our family in the faith. And God, please help me to protect my body, right? And to honor my body with purity. God, help me to honor you with my body. And God, please protect our feet and help us walk along your path. God, let your word be a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. So just praying that this morning over all of us, that we continue to honor God with our bodies. Now, got some interesting articles for this morning, and especially I think this is going to impact parents a little bit and check on your children at school and find out what's going on because some of these things that I'm sharing with you may be happening in your children's school and you may not be aware of it. Okay. But there was something that was kind of on my heart and going through my mind this morning. And I just wanted to share it with you, and we support bad behavior, and it does get supported. We applaud degeneracy, and we wonder why everything is falling apart. Yeah, we're sitting back going, why is the world so crazy? But we are supporting bad behavior. We're not telling people no. And it's okay to tell people no because you can't just do whatever you want to whenever you want to. There are boundaries. And there are times when you just need to hear the word no. And sometimes it's a soft no. It's like, no, not right now. And sometimes it's just a full stop, absolutely not. And people need to hear that irregardless of the feeling, right? Because we're getting caught up in our feelings, and our feelings are not facts. And we have to always remember that somebody can be as passionate as they want to about not liking me. I'm not going to let them live rent free in my head. Okay. Because I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. Right. But I'm not going to force myself on anyone. And that's where we find ourselves. This, in my opinion. Okay. I don't know if anybody else out there agrees with that, but that's where I see some of this going. And it's really, really disheartening to see. Oh, sincerely, thank you so much for joining this morning. She says, I noticed that I can't retweet and like the show anymore. I know, right? Am I being shadow banned? Ooh, good morning to you too, sincerely. Look, I done made somebody upset. Is that a bad thing? Like, right? It's kind of a badge of honor. We can't find you. Oh, no. I don't want to go back to StreamYard. I'm sorry. The feed wasn't acting right. I think that was like the main thing. It's like, I'm paying you more money and the feed's not acting right. Like, I need help me. Okay. If I'm paying more, then I want a better service. I can't pay you more and the service isn't great. Just saying. So again, if anybody knows of a good streaming service out there, share the love. Let me know. I'm not really excited about OBS because OBS, I got to build stuff and all. I don't want to do that. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to some of this technology. All right. I just want to push buttons and keep it moving because it's me. It's not like I have a producer, somebody sitting out there in the ether, when I can say, hey, pull that clip for me. No, I do not have it like that. I am it. Okay. Mistakes, flaws, and all, y'all. It's just me. So if you know of something better, just let me know. Just let me know. So with that, we're going to get into looking at some of these school protests that I have come across on X. So I'm hoping you guys will be able to hear what I'm sharing. If not, please let me know in the comments because I want to make sure that you guys can also hear this. So let me see. Let me share. Open my comments. I got Sincerely in the room. So Sincerely, it's on you. You got to tell me if you can hear this or not. So here's the thing. It's breaking news. And this happened about 13 hours ago. So kind of late last night into yesterday. Furious Florida parents are now demanding that Ron DeSantis take action against the Florida Teachers Union after a representative said it is a requirement for their children to be used in protest against immigration enforcement. What? That's why I was saying, parents, you need to check to see what's happening with your kids in school. Whether you need to, because see, I wouldn't call. You might need to go up there because they could just tell you whatever they want you to hear. And they'll be like, these parents are probably not going to be in agreement with their children missing school. Because here's the thing, our property taxes keep going up. I live in Georgia. Property taxes have gone up. But our babies can't read, they can't write, they can't do basic math. Like, what are we doing? Our children are less intelligent. The schools are making more money. And now they're just flat out demanding indoctrination. What? Stop that. All right, let's see.
So when Florida students are confronted with videos of ICE raids, of families being torn apart, and of Americans being murdered for using their constitutional rights, they respond. They organize. They speak out. And they do what American students have always done in moments of injustice. They stand together and demand safety for their peers, their families, and themselves. And that response, while framed by some politicians as radical, is rather reasonable. It's rational. And in a moment like this, it is required. To any students being told that they do not have the right to speak out or walk out on their campus, I want to be clear. This is the United States of America. You do not shed your First Amendment rights when you step foot through the schoolhouse gates. So,
okay, stop. These babies are required to do this? What about the students that don't want to? Are they being punished if they don't want to participate? Are you telling the parents that your child is going to participate? These people are underage. Don't conflate the two. Because see, back in the 60s, when they were protesting the Vietnam War, it wasn't the elementary school students. It weren't the preschool students, middle school or high school students. It was colleges. They were college students doing this, doing the walkouts, they were over 18. They were young adults. They were students, but they were young adults. This indoctrination needs to stop. Like I said, I live in Georgia, and I am working with state representatives to at least pass a law here because, see, parents, what you don't know, it's not illegal for these teachers to do this. There aren't any laws in place to protect your babies against this. Because why would you think you would need to do that? Why? Why would you think that your teachers are indoctrinating your children? What if you are okay with what ICE is doing? We're not talking about the rights of those parents, right? We're not talking about the rights of those students, right? What about the people that agree that illegal immigration is wrong? And yes, people need to be deported. Because guess what? Overwhelmingly, people voted for that. Who's in the White House right now? Oh, that's right. It's not Harris. That's who it's not. Okay? Overwhelmingly, people have voted. Overwhelmingly. And you are still trying to disenfranchise those who overwhelmingly voted for deportation. What is wrong with you? Now I'm talking to the teachers union right now. What is wrong with you? Okay. Now I wanted to check out another video. And now here it says his mom showed up and was not happy. Okay. This student shouted so many vile things at a woman during the claw. Hey, look, I had to take my time with that one. High school's anti-ICE walkout in Washington, and teachers just watched. Because, see, they keep thinking this is just the students. No, it's not. It's these teachers allowing this and encouraging it. Stop that. Stop it, stop it, stop it. It's just a mess. Okay, I'm hoping there is not any profanity. If there is, I do apologize because I try not to have that on here on the show. But let me see. Pause it. Take it back. Let's check this out.
Your mama a bitch. Your mama a hoe. If you support ICE, your mama a hoe. Your daddy a hoe. Your whole family a hoe. Oh, fuck that! Your mama a hoe. Everybody in your family are hoes. Fucking slut.
Yeah. So you was out there with your whole chest until your mama showed up and said, what? If you don't sit down somewhere. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Now, this one, a high school student during an anti-ICE walkout was heard crying and yelling, I want my mommy. Okay, understood. But she was arrested for interfering with police officers trying to arrest another person. Yes, her arrest is completely justified, even as a juvenile. Okay. See, they are trying to radicalize these young people, thinking you can just do whatever you want to. They're wanting these babies to get hurt out here. And it's disgusting. Any teachers right now that are trying to justify this behavior of these young people, you need to lose your credentials as a teacher, never be allowed in front of a child again. And you need to go to prison. That's where I'm at. I'm at lockup. And, well, this is my First Amendment. No. You are inciting violence. That's where your First Amendment stops. When you are inciting for these children to go out and put themselves in harm's way. You lost it. You lost your First Amendment when you use these children as fodder. Okay? That's the litmus test right here. So let's check this out.
Student was arrested during an anti-ICE walkout at Enumclaw High School in Washington. In the video, she can be heard saying, I want my mommy, as officers detain her. Reports state she was interfering with police arresting another protester.
Yeah, so you want your mom when it's all over. Does this remind me of anything I've ever seen before? Anybody seen Pinocchio? Right? Remember when the young children were being turned into donkeys at some point because they were drinking and smoking, doing all this stuff. But there was the donkey that could still talk. I want my mommy. It's too late. It's too late. You drunk the poison Kool-Aid. And you listen to people telling you that it's okay to defy the law. But then when you did and there were repercussions and consequences, then you want your mom? Now you want your mom. Now it's not okay. What? These educators. Well, they call themselves educators. I don't. I call them indoctrinators. Okay. These people indoctrinating our children, not educating them, indoctrinating them. They are the ones that also need accountability. You don't get to escape this. Absolutely not. There needs to be consequences. But see, you know what you can get away with right now because there are no laws against you. But guess what? In Georgia, oh, it's about to be fixed. Trust. Like I said, I'm working with legislatures to make sure legislation gets passed so this never happens in this state ever again. Okay? Because it never should have been happening. What are you doing? I mean, really, honestly, what are you doing? And here's the last one I'm going to share with you guys. Now, this is from Libs of TikTok. It says, OMG, at Da Vinci High School at DJUSD, allowed and supervised an anti-ICE protest where kids ran through the street and ripped up signs for counter protesters. He then refused to answer questions. Let's make him famous. This is a principal? Why are these babies running in the street? Again, I'm telling you, they want somebody to get hurt. And then when somebody gets hurt, it's going to be like, see what? See what? What are you doing with our children? Now, I have grown children. I also have grandbabies. You know, my grandson, he's 9. And then I've got 2 younger grandbabies that are in Georgia. And they're about 1.5, 3. Then I got another grandbaby, and she is going on 12. And they're, in this climate. And I pray for them every day. And I beg God to keep them safe. Because I don't want them to be a part of this. But, you can't control everything, but you can at least pray for protection. And that's what we need to do, is definitely continue to pray for protection of our babies. And Spud McKenzie, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And sincerely, I did put the link in my profile on X, so hopefully you can find it and repost the stream so that other people know that I'm still here. Because I was like, why are my views so low? And I was like, oh, people have no idea that my show is going on X. They just don't know. So I'm going to have to be better about, I guess, posting the next, for the next day, so people see it, so people know that I am still existing on X, because it's not in my feed. So again, that's something I'll be looking into and changing. But let's get back to this.
What's that?
Are you involved with this protest at all?
Those are my students.
I'm sorry. So, are you teach here? Do you teach here?
I prefer not to engage.
That's okay. You're on the public sidewalk. Are you working right now?
Am I working right now?
Yeah.
Sure am.
What's your name? I'm asking you what your name. You're on the public sidewalk. You're working, and these are your students. What is your name? Have these students notified their parents?
What's that?
Have these parents notified their parents that they're out here protesting on a sidewalk?
I'm sorry?
I
can't hear you over the protest.
Have these parents been notified that their students are protesting?
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Have these parents been notified that their children are protesting on the public sidewalk during school day?
Okay, I'm sorry, what?
Have you notified the parents that these children...
Stay on the side.
Have you notified the parents that these children are protesting during the school day? Were school resources used to make these signs?
Makes us stronger. Your hate 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 makes us stronger. Your
give you permission.
Back up!
Brown and proud. Brown and proud. Brown and proud.
Leave her alone.
Did your parents give you permission to
Yeah,
be
my
here?
dad gave me permission and my mom.
Okay, what's your mother's name?
Don't worry about it.
What's your mother's name? What's your mother's name? Did your parents give you permission to be here? Did you ask the parents? Did you ask their parents if they could protest here? Were your parents notified if you were protesting today?
Talk to them.
And let's just take note that the American flag is not being promoted, but the Mexican flag. And you're on American soil. So not only are you encouraging these babies, because they're babies. I don't care how much teenager they are, they're babies, to protest against immigration and customs enforcement. They're wearing the flag of another country. See, this is called being conquered. Okay, let this finish.
Your hate makes us stronger. 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 Your hate makes us stronger.
Get away from me! Get away from me!
Your hate makes us stronger. Your hate makes us stronger. Your hate makes us stronger. Your hate makes us stronger.
Now, okay, y'all. They're out there decrying and saying, your hate makes us stronger. What was hateful about what that woman was doing? Was she yelling at them, you need to get back in school? And no, she was just saying, hey, do your parents know about what's going on? Your hate of what? Hate of wanting closed borders? Hate of, not wanting people here illegally on the soil? What are we doing? Because all of that was demonic. All of it. Every single bit of it. From start to finish. Come on now. That was all demonic. But that's the point. Strip away the innocence and create a demonic environment. And I just want to remind those that, they think they're escaping this. And here's the thing. And I'm going to read this separately. Let me see. Nope, I don't have it up on my screen. So I'm going to just read it separately. So there is a passage in Matthew that says, it's Matthew 18:6. It says, if anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. These young people are being misled. Now in Isaiah 9:16, it says, those who guide this people mislead them, and those who are guided are led astray. All right. There's another passage in Isaiah 3:12 that says, youths oppress my people, women rule over them. My people, your guides lead you astray. They turn you from the path. Okay, now everybody out here listening to me, you may not be a Christian, and that's okay. You may be an atheist. You may not believe in God at all. The point comes back to, why are our youth being led astray by other people being led astray? There is a difference between right and wrong. And right now we see evil getting the opportunity to reign. This is what evil looks like. Okay? When they've captured the youth. I'm sure people have, seen different movies, and you always wonder, why are they always, trying to get rid of the adults and get the children? Because see, you can mold the children. So you can make them believe something that isn't true. Yeah. And that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. There's no more denying it, hiding from it, none of that. The question is, as some of the adults in the room, let's just say that, what are we going to do about it? We're going to sit back and just let this continue like it's supposed to just ride out? Or are we going to oppose this in a peaceful way and say, no more of this? Like I said, we got legislatures here in Georgia working on shutting this down because it needs to be. It truly does. Are babies being used? Okay. Are babies being used to promote an agenda? Yeah. This is, to me, this is showing the de-evolution of our population. Because if you can capture the minds of these babies and make them believe things that are not true, make them believe that evil is good and good is evil, where are we at? We have to stand against it with everything within us. Because if we don't, it's not like we're going to lose our country. We're going to lose more than that. And that needs to be at the forefront of every single person, right? Especially if you are a parent, someone in the community, teacher, especially if you're a teacher. You need to protect these children and stop indoctrinating them. Okay, and with that, again, parents, check on your babies. Call the school, go up to the school, and see if these things are happening with your students. All right. Now we're going to get into our next phase. We're going to check out what's going on in New York, because, the mayor, I'm going to start calling him the mayor extraordinaire, Mandani. This is wild, y'all. So he has decided to put in place a free grocery store. Yes, you heard me. You heard me right. You heard me right, y'all. A free grocery store. And of course, I didn't put it in my feed. My goodness. Hold on. Give me a moment. Because I was like, I know I got it in my feed. Why didn't I add it? There was so much news this morning. It's not my fault. Maybe it is my fault because I'm the only one here. Like I said, you gotta stay responsible. You have to stay engaged. Let me find it really quickly. Got that one. Sorry, you guys. I didn't want to go to commercial. I was just like, not that I'm lazy for that one, but let me see if it is in my regular feed. But again, I found it concerning that, Mandani is introducing these free grocery stores. And the reason why it's concerning is because this has happened before with these free grocery stores, right? And they always fail. And you kind of thinking, it's a free grocery store. How is a free, let's talk about that, free grocery store failing? And I'm going to show you some articles of where it's happened before. And it's really, again, it's concerning. Okay. Here we go. I'll just do, that was an old one. Interesting. So let's see. Is this this is it. Well, this is another one that I didn't have. Let me move it to my folder. I got folders now. Yay. Again, thank you so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. Let me get back here to my bookmarks, and I do apologize for any delay that you see on the screen. It's because, it gets a little bit delayed when I'm messing around with technology in the background and I'm trying to get these videos up. Let me see if I have any comments from any of my viewers. And sincerely says, okay, I'll retweet the link for, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. And Patty Cake, she's joining us this morning on YouTube. She says, hey, founder. Hey to you too. Hope you're having a great morning. And Simply Soulful, she is back. She says, Grand Rising, founder, and Grand Rising to you too. I hope you enjoyed your little vacation and happy birthday. Shout outs going to Miss Soulful. All right. And with that, let's get into it. All right, y'all. My goodness. Okay. So this is free groceries, y'all. Okay. It says, I saw a post saying the free food pantry that opened in New York was needed because of Trump's supposed failing economy. It turns out it was a marketing gimmick by Polymarket. At least this lady had the sense to know that government-run grocery stores like those in Cuba, okay, are bad. I wonder if she voted for Mondani, right? Like I said, these grocery stores don't always pan out. So let's see what's happening.
What do you think about this whole thing? Because you and I had talked about the fact that this is basically related to gambling.
Yes.
You know the company. And they have donated $1 million to the food bank of New York City.
Yes.
So this is a promotion as well. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about all this?
Again, I came for the experiments, for the experience. I think it's a social experience, also. Mm-hmm. It's a good idea, just for the experience.
Right.
I don't think it's a good idea for New York to do this all the time or every day on a consistent basis, because it'll lead us back to maybe like Cuba when they give out food to families and everybody has to come.
So that's a concern for you.
Concern for me.
Okay. What do you think about this whole thing? Because you and I had...
Look, she brought Cuba into the conversation. What? But that is what this leads to. Now, we're going to get back to these clips, but I wanted to check out Kansas City. Now, this was an article last year. Now, this was before Mondani got into office. So, city-owned Missouri grocery store closes as Mondani campaigns for some in New York. Okay. So, as New York City Democratic mayoral candidate at that time, Zohran Mondani promotes the idea of city-run grocery stores. One city-owned market in Missouri closed its doors on Tuesday. Now, this was back in August, after years of struggling and millions of taxpayer dollars. Now, again, you think it...
Hey, I'm AI, and as you know, I'm only as good as my data.
Stop talking over me. What is going on? Sorry about that interruption, y'all. Sometimes the pop-ups, they're popping up. You would think you got money, you got government support. Why are these grocery stores closing down? Because they're not self-sustaining. And you would think, there are food pantries out there, right? Where people come like maybe once a month or every couple of weeks or however they do it. Why aren't these free grocery stores not able to sustain themselves? This isn't the only one. This is just one I'm bringing up. So, local news outlets reported the doors of the Kansas City Sun Fresh Market were locked that morning with a note saying the store was unable to serve the community. How are you unable to serve the community when you're getting money and you're given resources, right? So, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances beyond our control, we are no longer at this time able to serve the residents of this community. The note read, according to KSHB in Kansas City, it has always been our dream and passion to provide quality products and services in a safe family environment. At this time, unfortunately, we are unable to do that. What happened? So they confirmed the store's closure through a statement of the community builders. Okay, so they're closed. Now, Community Builders of Kansas City through Midtown Grocers LLC has worked tirelessly to provide food and necessary services to the urban community throughout its history. Pearson said Community Builders has been vocal for years about concerns and fears regarding the increasingly insurmountable challenges of the Kansas City Sun Fresh Midtown location. They are well documented and well known to the community, the media, and the city of Kansas City, Missouri. Okay. He continued, as of August 12, 2025, CBKC is no longer able to serve the residents from this Midtown Sunfresh location. We have no other comments at this time. How was it? Why did it fail? You're giving money and you got resources. Why is this failing? And it says, we will immediately begin working with community stakeholders, potential new private operators, and neighborhood leaders to identify a sustainable solutions for the location, spokesperson said. Despite recent challenges, the grocery operations on both sides of the state line, Kansas City's residents deserve reliable access to quality groceries, and we are committed to continuing our work with private sector actors to help fulfill this long-term community need. Now, the city purchased the Linwood Shopping Center Sunfresh in 2016 and opened the grocery store in 2018 in an effort to provide more options for residents in the area. Kansas City spent more than $17 million in taxpayer money acquiring and renovating the Sunfresh market. Despite its efforts, Sunfresh had been plagued with empty shelves and crime. The stuff is free. What? Again. Okay. Leading employees to reportedly carry tasers. If everything is free, what? So last year, the Kansas City Council approved spending of $750,000 in emergency city funding in an attempt to keep the store open. $750,000 on top of the $17 million. Now here's my thing. Why are we supporting failure? It's failing. But we're going to continue to support failure because that's what we do. We have 8th place ribbons now. Okay? I'm with Ricky Bobby on that one. If you're not first, you're last. All right? First, second, or third. If you are not on the podium, it's a wrap. Why are we supporting so much failure? Now, Sunfresh came into the spotlight over the last few months after Mandani began pushing his campaign for similar city-run stores in New York. Okay, so now we're here. All right, just had to give you that little backstory. But now we're here with this store. Now, I wanted to also focus on Mandani in some other areas outside of this grocery store that unfortunately it may fail. Oh, right. Before we get to there's another grocery store that failed. Now, this one happened in Georgia. Now, the grocery spot in Atlanta's Grove Park neighborhood temporarily closed in June of 2024 due to a $2,600 electricity bill, highlighting the struggle for community-funded, free, or low-cost food initiatives. Rising demand for freezers and food led to unsustainable operational costs, forcing the facility to halt services for over 1,000 weekly users. So they've got close to 4,000 people a month using this. You have funding from the state or the city, but it's not sustainable because free isn't really free, is it? The money's got to come from somewhere. Somebody's got to have a job. Really? Communism does not work. Socialism does not work. It just doesn't work. You cannot have something for nothing. It doesn't work. Now, there are people that do need resources. There are the vulnerable amongst us, and there are services for them. But somebody's got to work. If you're able-bodied, you got to work. Because free isn't really free. There's somebody else supplying this. Now, everybody says, well, we live in one of the richest. The money will run out. It can, okay? And it will. Everything isn't free. Stop that. Stop it. Now, here's the operational strain, the need for more energy-intensive freezers to serve the community caused utility costs to exceed funds, forcing a temporary shutdown. So they couldn't pay a $2,600 phone bill. Electricity bill. How did the electricity bill get to $2,600? Is that monthly? But see, we don't know how much money they were given, right? On a monthly or annual basis. So that comes back to budgeting. Where's the money going? Just saying. Why isn't there something worked out with the state? Maybe, right? To negotiate the electricity bill. Because if this is all about sustaining people, why weren't you guys doing that? Or did you do that and you still exceeded what you needed? Right? But again, where's the money going? What are you doing? Resource dependency. As a community-funded nonprofit, the store relies entirely on donations to cover costs such as electricity, which became unsustainable. So apparently they didn't have a government contract to do this. They're relying on the kindness of others, we'll say, to keep this rolling. It's unsustainable. High demand. The store serves over 1,000 people weekly, highlighting the high demand for free food resources in that area. Now, alternative models. While some free community-based markets face shutdowns, others are emerging, such as the Pratt Free Market in Maryland, which launched in 2024. They're all going to end up in the same place because it's unsustainable. It doesn't work. Stop trying to force communism in this country. It doesn't work. Again, this woman brought up Cuba. What about Venezuela? What about Puerto Rico? What about all these other places we don't talk about that have communism? It doesn't work. Stop it. It doesn't work. We need to get out of that mindset. Now we're going to roll on and talk about, this is a leaked video of Zorhan telling Muslims that he intends to put Muslims' need before non-Muslims. Okay, now I did check with Grok because I was like, was this ever played like prior to him being elected? Apparently it wasn't. But the recording was done prior to his election. But this video wasn't released prior to the election. So just follow me on that one. And this says voters in New York City were duped. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Alhamdulillah, there are 1 million Muslims in this city. 200,000 of us are registered to vote as Democrats. In the last election, only 7% of us voted. Now, I will not blame anyone because often it feels like there isn't much to vote for. But this June 24th, with early voting starting tomorrow, it is an opportunity. An opportunity for us to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City, we also belong in City Hall. Because yesterday I stood on the debate and Andrew Cuomo stood next to me. And here was a man who was the governor for a decade. And he could not name a single mosque he had ever visited. He could not name it because he does not care.
No, he couldn't name it because he's not Muslim. He doesn't practice that religion. Y'all aren't the friendliest. I'm just saying. Can't just roll up on a mosque. Definitely as a female, can't just roll up on a mosque. Let's just keep it a buck. Can't just roll up. I just want to talk to y'all. You're not welcoming. You're not. Your religion is into conquering. And I'm demanding that our U.S. Congress, House, and Senate stop allowing this. Because yes, We have freedom of religion in this country. But when people are trying to impose their political stature through their religion and impose it on us and demand that we are a part of it, Because look, even with Christianity, I'm like, all right, now there's a line. There's a line. We cannot be a theocracy. We are not one. But there are forms of Islam that are, right? And I want to put that on Christianity too. There are forms of Christianity where people are like, yeah, we are our political stature. Stop that. You cannot demand that people be Christians. You can pray for people. You can reach out to them, but you cannot demand that they are Christians. That is a choice. The difference with some of these forms of Islam is that they demand that you go along with their religion or they're just going to off you. I'm just keeping it kind. Okay. Now, Japan, shut it down. All right. Halal is banned. Large mosques are banned. Call to prayer is banned. Praying in the street, banned. So they've basically said Islam is not welcome in Japan. They're like, kick rocks, go home. We're not doing that here. This is the new prime minister there. They shut it down, y'all. They shut it down. I'll give you some audio on it. Hold on one moment.
日本国憲法第7条により衆議院を解散する。
That was their form of signing off on. That's a yes. Yeah, like we're banning it all. You can't come here. You can't be, because you don't know how to act. Okay? Some of y'all don't know how to act. We'll just put it that way. Just coming in, taking over, just, knocking down stuff. You're messy with it. Okay? Is the Nation of Islam trying to take over the United States? No, but they practice Islam. Been doing it for a few decades now on this soil. You ever hear about them trying to take over cities? No. They're practicing the peaceful form because there is a peaceful form of Islam. There is. And those Muslims are peaceful. They do not have that takeover jihadist practicing Sharia law. They're not them. But the ones that are jihadists practicing Sharia law, which we have one in office, his name is Mandani. And he is what it is what it is. I can say allegedly all day long. He is showing who he is, y'all. All day. You voted for this. Now, God said, I warned you repeatedly that this was coming. You ignored my warnings. Residents in this area of Manhattan, New York, are completely shocked to hear an Islamic call to prayer on high volume speakers as they walk down the street. I never thought in my life I'd hear this in the middle of New York. This was 14 hours ago. All right. This is happening. There is a jihadist Sharia law takeover going on in our country. These people do not align with us. We have in the early 1900s, we had to shut it down then. We had to shut it down because people did not align with America. And they were immediately deported, denaturalized and deported. That's what I need. If you are not going to live according to the Constitution here, that's fine. But you got to go. You got to go. You need to find a piece of land on this globe where you can just do your thing. But you're not doing that here. This needs to be shut down immediately.
Here is Atlantic. We are hearing Azan. Come here.
I think we pretty off the Texas stuff.
Yeah. episode in my life is gonna be here, hearing this in the middle of New York. Good.
Yeah, it's not good. Because, see, these people have a takeover spirit that's demonic. See, they kill other people that are not rolling with them. Is that what we want? Because it's in Dearborn, Michigan. It's in New York City now. And I'm sure it's in a few other states. Like, shut this down now. It needs to be more than, okay, you just can't do this. Nope, these people need to be denaturalized and deported, period. You need to get up off the soil. There needs to be mass deportations. We can't live amongst people who do not know how to live kindly with others. Y'all don't know how to do that. You want to get somewhere and take it over. We need to live peacefully here. And are we all living peacefully here? Probably not. I'm just going to say that people aren't perfect. Okay. But this takeover spirit, y'all got to go. You got to go. And Spud says, get to the part where the store owner is talking. There's a store owner talking? Oh, you might have to send me that because I don't have that. Send it to me. Okay. Now, I wanted to also play this video because she has some very good, she's got some, I should say, her commentary on this is pretty good. She says, anyone hearing this in their neighborhood in New York City. Now, she's going to talk about the call to prayer, but she's got some other commentary on this.
New Yorkers are now getting a taste of their own medicine. They're now being awoken by the Islamic call to prayer at 5 a.m. And are then being disturbed a further 4 times throughout the day by that very same Islamic call to prayer. How sad. Sorry, excuse my lack of empathy. Only I don't know what the fuck you expected.
Sorry, y'all.
You elected an Islamist mayor, a socialist Islamist mayor, no less. Zoran despises everything that the United States stands for. Freedom, democracy, might, and capitalism. So it is absolutely no surprise that he is choosing to disrupt the status quo. Hence, the Islamic call to prayer being loudspeakered throughout the city. Across the very same city that was victim to the worst attack of all time. And that's probably why, on his path of self-destruction, he also just appointed the attorney of the 9/11 Al-Qaeda to now be the top attorney in New York City. You know, he's just disrupting the status quo. He wants New York to eat itself from the inside out. And you fools have facilitated this. And my God, did we warn you. London has been stuck with Sadiq Khan as mayor for a very long time. We have been stuck with the Islamic call to prayer for far too long. But that should be the very least of your concerns. London has quickly become all but lawless. Crime has skyrocketed. There's 2-tier policing protecting, you guessed it, the Muslims. Oh, and the demographic of London has been irreparably changed, altered by, I'll leave you to guess by whom. Buckle up, New York. Buckle the fuck up.
Okay. I do apologize for the language in there. It's interesting. You blotted out one, but you allowed the F-bomb? Anyways, there are things that that were eliminated. I was like, man, I could have dealt with less of that than the other one. But again, they have voted for their demise. So do we listen? Excuse me. For your cries for justice? You voted for this. And you were warned, don't do this. It's one of those things. What do you do with that? What do you really do with that? And with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we're going to continue to get into some more of this news. So thank you again for joining me here on the Monday recap for Unfiltered Vision News. And we will see you on the other side. Stop it.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
And we are back. Thank you so much for joining us here on Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. And that commercial that you just saw is from LifeWave, of which I am a, what do they call it? The distributor? I think that's what I am. Yeah. Look, I'm not into building teams, but I do promote the product because it does work. I've used it. It's amazing. Not making any over egregious claims, just giving my personal testimony. So if you would like to learn more about LifeWave, please check out my website at LifeWave/Noni CMS LLC. And that's LifeWave/Noni CMS LLC. And I also want to promote my app. Let me bring it up here really quickly. Yes, I do have an app for Unfiltered Vision News. And the reason for this app is because there are things that, as I do say on my program, not anything egregious or horrible, right? But there are things within the algorithm that they don't want to hear, right? They don't want me to speak out on some things. And so instead of risking my channel being taken down on certain platforms, I have created an app where you can listen to the long form content of my show. I still have yet to do some separate content on my show. Looking forward to doing that and just sharing that with you guys. So you can come here and you can actually check out the live feed and the live streams by purchasing an actual subscription here. So for the first 100 subscribers, it's $1.99 a month, and it's $20 for the year. After that, it's going to be $4.99 a month and $50 a year. So I would definitely appreciate you guys' support, or you can also support the channel by purchasing the merch. I produced an album last year under the group. Oh, there's no volume. Oh, Lord, I'm just talking and you can't hear me? I can hear me. Can you? You can't hear me? Oh, no. That's not good. Because, okay, affected only on your end. Let me do that again. Okay, now you can hear me. Okay, good. Thank you. I was like, oh, no. That's happened before. I was just rolling one time, and it was good. It was so good. Somebody was like, we can't hear a thing you're saying. I was like, oh, man. And sometimes that happens when I when I do the commercial. Sometimes it will not switch over. and we'll switch the microphone back on. So thank you, Spud, for letting me know that you couldn't hear me, but now you can. Awesome. So again, you can purchase some of the merch that I have here. Again, I have a album that I produced last year with the group Divine Echo Collective, and it's Heaven Touch Earth. It is actually a AI band that I created. So I'm really excited about it. Oh, thank you, Owen Knight. I'm glad you can hear me as well. But that supports the channel. Just buying or, purchasing the album. Also, we have other merch. I've got a faith line. So we got hats. We've got, as you can see, the little t-shirts here, books. We also have UVN, which is Unfiltered Vision News merch. We got coffee mugs, sweatshirts, again, hats, tumblers. So any support you guys want to give me would be appreciated because we got to keep the lights on, right? We got to do something to keep the lights on. So I definitely wanted to take that time to promote purchasing the merch or, purchasing the X39 patches. And again, that helps to support the channel, right? And it helps to keep me here on the air. So you can check out the app, unfilteredvisionnews.com, or check out the X39 patch at lifewave.com/Noni CMS LLC. And with that, let's get back into some more of this news. Now we're going to talk about the government shutdown that's going on. So I've got 2 different videos to share with you guys and definitely share about what is going on because a lot of people didn't realize that it's partially shut down, right? So I know that sounds weird because they're really trying to shut down immigration, customs, and enforcement. This is a sticky point for the Democrats, but I'm like, okay, this still happened. All right, y'all fussing about something that happened a year ago. They're like, oh my gosh, this has happened and all. Well, maybe it wouldn't have happened if people weren't radicalized. Maybe this would not have happened. Because, yes, you can protest, but you cannot interfere with federal law enforcement. There are laws against that. It's called Title 18, Section 111. Okay, you can't interfere with their job. You can be mad all you want, but you can't interfere with what they're doing. And because of the interference, people have lost their lives. And there has been violence. Now, I'm not condoning the violence. I'm definitely not condoning people being unalived. The problem is people felt that they could do it. And people were encouraged to do it. Why? Because, see, we're not talking about the people that encouraged them. We're just blaming the people that reacted. We're not having a holistic conversation about how this even started in the first place. And now you got these babies out here protesting. You see where I'm going with this? What happens when these babies are out of school and they see what they think is an ICE officer and they approach that ICE officer? Like that young lady calling out for her mom because she was trying to interfere with law enforcement because they think they can. This is the lawlessness that's happening. What happens when one of these babies gets involved in the wrong situation and they are harmed or unalived? What happens then? Is that what they're pushing for? And that becomes the bigger question. That really, really becomes the bigger question on it. So let's look at this first video talking about this partial government shutdown and the people that it's really going to affect.
So the left's demands for an ICE overhaul has helped shut down funding to the Department of Homeland Security, even though immigration agencies like ICE are already funded under the GOP's One Big Beautiful Bill. But the heads of other agencies under DHS recently told the House Appropriations Committee what the loss of funding could cost them.
We heard reports of officers sleeping in their cars at airports to save money on gas, selling their blood and plasma and taking on second jobs to make ends meet. The FIFA World Cup is only 121 days away, kicking off on June 11th. We need to ensure we are adequately prepared, both from a staffing and technology perspective, and we do not have the luxury of time.
The assassination attempt on President Trump's life brought forward hard truths for our agency and critical areas for improvement. A shutdown halts our reforms and undermines the momentum that we, including all of you, have worked so hard to build together.
A funding lapse has severe and lasting challenges for our workforce, operational readiness, and long-term capabilities.
Joining us now, the lawmaker who chaired that hearing, Republican Congressman Tom Cole from Oklahoma. Congressman, thanks for being with us. So,
John, great to be with you.
We've got a partial government shutdown once again. Why?
Well, we have it simply because the Democrats in the Senate didn't keep their word. We actually had a negotiated bill that passed the House that they agreed to. Then they changed course and decided to send us back 5 of the 6 bills we sent them and only fund the Department of Homeland Security for 2 weeks. We didn't even get, by the time we got it back, there were fewer than 10 days, and we didn't have a proposal for a number of days until that. So it's been a Keystone Cop operation. Look, the people that they're trying to shoot at, so to speak, or trying to disrupt ICE and the Border Patrol are going to function fine. They're already funded. But what they've managed to do is shut down or make sure the Secret Service isn't paid, make sure TSA and air traffic controllers don't get paid, make sure the Coast Guard doesn't get paid, make sure that we don't have FEMA to take care of any disaster relief that happens. Now, a lot of these people are still working, but they're working without paychecks, and that's incredibly unfair. So I would just tell our friends in the Senate to pass a longer-term continuing resolution, keep negotiating if they must, but let's not disrupt the government for the American people. And for goodness sake, let's not ask hard-working public servants to keep working without a paycheck.
Yeah, I went flying during the last government shutdown, and I was very thankful, I mean, deep into the shutdown, to see the TSA agents, whom I don't normally like to encounter at an airport, but I was happy to see they were there that day doing the job. And here we are, just a couple of months later, looking at the same kind of thing again. They're going to be working without paychecks.
Yeah, we're wearing them out. I mean, these people have, they've got mortgages, they've got car payments, they've got families that they've got to feed like anybody else, and they don't deserve to be treated this way. And, I don't think anybody working for the government ought to be treated this way. But in this case, the Democrats aren't even able to impact the agencies that they're concerned about. So they literally are punishing innocent bystanders and endangering the American public. It's just unconscionable. And this, by the way, is the 3rd time Senate Democrats have done this in 4 months. It's ridiculous. I remember when Democrats used to condemn Republicans for shutting down the government. Now it's part of their playbook. So it's just amazingly irresponsible, and in this case, I think, incredibly inept.
Yeah, the round of bad weather that's hitting the southeast today, it potentially includes tornadoes. If some tornadoes spin out and do major damage, you're saying that FEMA, well, I guess could respond, but the people who are responding on its behalf aren't getting paid for it, huh?
That's correct. And they also are limited in the amount of funds they have on hand. They can probably handle something like you're describing, but the reality is there was, I think, $26 billion set to go into their what are called DARF funds, or the monies that they use to deal with disasters. And we have ongoing payments going out now to things like Hurricane Helene, to the disasters and fires that we had on the West Coast. So all that stuff is at risk, and for no reason. Nobody's accusing these people of having done anything wrong. Nobody's got a beef with them. It's just Democrats have decided they're not going to pay for the work that's being done in good faith by public servants. And again, it's dangerous, it's unconscionable, and we're putting these people again through this, for no good reason whatsoever.
So it's really about trying to gain leverage against, I guess, ICE or maybe the president rather than, good governance.
It absolutely is. This is all political theatrics. And again, I remind your listeners and viewers that they had already agreed to a bill. Look, we added body cameras. Those things can't go forward now. We added additional training. That can't go forward now. We had an agreed upon bill. Democrats just simply broke their word. Not the first time they'd done this. They broke their word in the first shutdown for 43 days, at the end of which they didn't achieve any of their objectives. But we certainly wore out a lot of people and endangered a lot of people. Now they're doing the same thing again. And again, just not acceptable. You know, it's a desperate act, the act of a party that is trying to score political points instead of serve the American people.
We'll see how long this partial shutdown lasts. Let's hope somebody comes to their senses and ends this one pretty quickly. Congressman Tom Cole, Republican of Oklahoma, thank you.
Okay. So you heard it. Now, what I wanted to share with you is, you know, I'll do my little research and grab. Okay, so the video does talk about the halted reforms in Operation Readiness, right? DHS agency heads testify that shutdown stops ongoing reforms, undermines workforce momentum, and poses risks to long-term capabilities, including disaster response efforts, employee hardships, disruption, services, and public safety risk. Now, specific effects on immigration customs enforcement. Unlike many other DHS components, ICE and Border Patrol operations continue to function during the shutdown because they are funded under the aforementioned GOP bill, which was the one big beautiful bill that you talk about, right? So they're going to have their money. But you want to hold everybody else. So it's almost like it's interesting. It's like forcing a hornet's nest. It's like, okay, we're going to shake up this hornet's nest and we want all the hornets going around mad. Okay, you want the hornets mad. Even if you get injured in the process, you don't care. Because you're grateful that everybody's mad and angry about it. And you're the cause of it, by the way. It's just like the rationale at this point behind it, because everybody sees who you are, Democratic Party. People in mass want deportations. They voted for it. Trump is in office. Tom Homan's been a part of DHS. I mean, you know, not DHS, but ICE enforcement since probably close to its inception. Under Obama, deported more than 3 million people. Obama gave the man a medal for the work he was doing. And he wasn't even the czar at that time. But you keep trying this weird new form of politics. Is it rules for radicals? Huh? Is that what you're introducing? Marxism at its highest level? Where people don't realize that they're being gaslit and taken advantage of? Oh, yeah, we got the Modernization Act, where you say you're protected in what you're doing. It's very crazy. And JJ 1989, top of the morning to you as well, and blessings. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube. Yeah. So I said thanks. Thank you. Can you please outline the funding in place for ICE? Okay. So here is the funding that's in place for Immigration Customs Enforcement. The amount allocated to ICE is approximately $75 billion in new budget authority because they already got it last year and it's in place. You can't touch it. You can't do anything with it unless you go back to the bill and amend it. This is not an appropriations situation. They're two totally different things. They're funded. They have their money. You can't touch it. But they needed more funding to actually put in place the things that you're asking for. You want body cameras. You want all of these other things because you said there's not enough training. They need body cameras. They need all of these things. So they're like, okay, then give us the money for it. Because see, the $75 billion is just to take care of having the resources to hire these people and give them the basic training that they have. If you want far above and beyond that, then we need to talk about appropriation. Okay. Now, This is described as roughly 7 times ICE's typical annual discretionary budget, which is usually around 10 billion. Some sources note breakdowns including 45 billion specifically for detention capacity and 30 billion for border operations. So you still have to have a place to put these people. You still have to have protections at the border. You want them spread too thin and you want everybody angry. That's what you're doing. Democrats, y'all are not slick. Okay. So additional, the bill provides up around 170 to 180 billion for total for DHS related agencies, with ICE and CBP receiving the bulk of the immigration focused funds. Nature of the funding, these funds were enacted via reconciliation, right? A budget process allowing passage with a simple majority, bypassing filibusters. So that's why they included it in the one big beautiful bill, to avoid what we're going through right now. You cannot hamstring them, but you're hamstringing them over things that you ask for. Y'all are weird. You're weird. You're like, we will make them lose at all costs, even at the cost of people having to sleep in their car. Now that's somebody that is, I got respect. You're sleeping in your car to save on gas so you can get back to work. And people wonder why these senators get to sit on the Hill and make detrimental demands on their lives. Don't vote for these people anymore. Stop that. You're voting for your own demise at this point. You're voting for your own demise. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your whining, because you are voting for your own demise. Stop it. So I ask you make a list of lawmakers that are part of this shutdown and a list of any public statements that they've made. Now, Chuck Schumer, and that's the video we're going to watch next, as a negotiator, Schumer has spearheaded the Democratic blockade, outlining 10 demands for ICE reforms and stating that without them, Democrats won't fund DHS. We will not support an extension of the status quo. Okay. Democrats will not support a blank check for chaos. The vote today asks a simple question: when will you rein in ICE's abuses, or will you vote to extend the chaos? Republicans chose chaos. The Democrats refuse. What are you talking about? They're already funded. They're going to keep doing their job. You want extra training. They're saying, okay, well, give us the money for the extra training and the body cameras, because they're still going to do their job regardless. And you're saying, nope, we're going to hold this money, but we're going to blame you at the same time. Hakeem Jeffries echoed Schumer's demands in letters to the GOP and emphasized that no funding should proceed without dramatic changes. Y'all are weird. Chris Murphy objected to unanimous consent for short-term funding, short-term funds until reforms are enacted. Oops, I'm sorry. Funding, this is Chris Murphy, that's Chris Coons. Funding and extension, and has been vocal about needing serious guardrails. Okay. Coons has indicated strong support for withholding funds until reforms are enacted. They can't enact they need the funding to put forth what you want, but you're holding the funding and you're still making demands. Y'all are weird. Okay, so these are people that you don't need to vote for: Schumer, Jeffries, Murphy, Coons, Brian Schatz of Hawaii. He's a potential future Democratic whip, has opposed. Ed Markey, he voted against funding packages and advocates for using the shutdown to defund or abolish. It's never going to happen. Okay, because they're already in the bill. They're already funded. What is wrong with y'all? But these are the people you don't need to vote for. But guess what Fetterman did? He voted with the Republicans to advance funding. Yeah, he voted with the Republicans. All right, now let's get to this next video with Chuck Schumer. I should say Senator Charles Schumer, and his perspective of what's going on with this bill.
Your fellow Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, who voted against shutting down the government, he pointed out that, quote, this shutdown literally has zero impact on ICE functionality. democracy demands a way forward to reform ICE without damaging our critical national security agencies, unquote. And it is true that CBP and ICE are fully funded this year, and you're using the funding of other parts of DHS, such as the Coast Guard or TSA, as leverage. And in the meantime, ICE can keep doing whatever it wants to do. So the question would be, how does the shutdown do anything to accomplish the goal of reining in Trump's immigration crackdown if ICE and CBP are not necessarily directly affected?
Well, 2 points. First, we have proposed that the guardrails that will be applied to ICE are applied not just to the present funding, but to the previous funding that was in the big bad bill. That's very important to us. So that will rein in all of the ICE agents, no matter where they're funded. But second, there's a simple answer to this. Republicans, go along with these common sense proposals, and we'll fund the whole DHS bill, the whole Department of Homeland Security bill. Just go along. Again, I cannot repeat enough. These are common sense. Police departments across America use them. We have a rogue agency. Why don't we rein them in? That's what the American people are asking Republicans, and that's why they're going to have to go along with us. And I believe they'll have no choice but to go along with us because it's so common sense and so much support.
So you want to go back to something that was already passed. It's not that simple. They're not a part of the appropriations package. It's in a bill. You would literally have to amend the bill. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Stop it. I'm going to let him continue.
By the American people. They're losing support every day by not supporting these common sense proposals. That's a lot of bull. They show no evidence of voter fraud. They show there's so little in the country. And to have ICE agents, these thugs, be by the polling places, that just flies in the face of how democracy works, of how we've had elections for hundreds of years, very successfully. It makes no sense at all. And we will, in our legislation, we say that ICE agents should not be anywhere near polling places. Again, I think most Americans agree. You talk to people at polling places who operate the polling places, they don't want these ICE agents near them and intimidating them.
Okay, so he was conflating two things. We're looking at, first of all, the funding for ICE. Then he wanted to bring the SAVE Act in there, where it's like ICE is going to be at the polling stations. Wait a minute. Why would they be there? Because, see, you've been okay with people that are here illegally, people that are not naturalized, voting in our elections. We've got 19 states that do not require voter ID. We also have states that have given people driver's licenses, irregardless of their status. And when I'm talking about, they've given people with visas, green cards, all this stuff, and they're not supposed to get driver's licenses in our country. And if they do, it is explicitly supposed to say that they are a non-citizen to distinguish them from citizens. Now, I was watching a video, and the woman was like, well, why don't we just put in like big bold letters on the back of their card that they're not citizens? You could do that. You could do that. Or my idea is they're already in a database. Run a conflict search and find out who's actually a citizen or not. Because guess what? If you say that you were a citizen and you got a driver's license, but you actually are not a naturalized citizen, you can be immediately deported because you lied. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just do the administrative part on the back end. Okay? You could find somebody in the middle of the desert in a hole, but you can't deport people that are here illegally, voting in our elections illegally if you don't stop. You do what you want to. You do what you want to when you want to. And right now, I'm not talking about ICE. I am talking about our intelligence agencies. You do what you want. So you don't want me up in there because I'm sending everybody to prison. I'm shutting it down. We're all going to have a meeting in a nice big auditorium. Yep, and I'm just going to start going down the roll. Oh, this person did this, and this was found on this computer. And you're going to be gently escorted out the building, and you are going to be met with handcuffs, and you are going to be taken to prison. Yeah. See, but that's me. I'm different. I'm going to just put it out there. Because, see, I want some law and order. I'm ready for it. Because this is exhausting. You got people sleeping in their cars, people giving plasma, people maybe possibly going to lose their home. Because, see, there's nothing there for the person doing this right to make sure that there's a moratorium on their mortgage. Or their rent or whatever's going on with them. They're just not going to get paid while you are grandstanding. It just reminds me of that whole thing in, what was that? That person that said, let them eat cake. Marie Antoinette. She didn't really know what was going on. But her thing was, let them eat cake. She didn't care. She was protected and taken care of. And that, to me, is what's going on with a lot of these lawmakers. They don't care because it doesn't affect them, even though they have this faux outrage like it does. So let's break down what Schumer was talking about, right? And the impact of ICE and CBP operations. So Schumer claims the shutdown has zero impact on ICE functionality because ICE and CBP are already fully funded through their prior legislation. He's right. He states that Democrats are using the shutdown of other DHS components as leverage to force reforms on ICE rather than directly halting ICE operations. So you're going to literally just make everybody suffer because you can't do your job. Now, a lot of people are like, what? Yeah, because you can't do your job. This should have been negotiated back last year. But this is what you politicians do. You don't care about anybody but yourselves. If you continue to vote for this, I cannot feel sorry for you. And now this is New York. You got this guy as one of your senators who's been there too long. Okay? Dude's been there since the 80s. Too long. Definitely not helping in the 90s. Same person that voted for the 1994 crime bill, by the way. Let's talk about that. You voted for the demise of people. We'll sidestep that, shelf that for another day and conversation. Just saying. All right? So he's got scope of performed guardrails, nature and supportive reforms, characterization of ICE. Schumer labels ICE as a rogue agency that is out of control and needs to be reined in to prevent abuses. They need to be reined in? They need to be reined in because the abuses. You just talked about leveraging people's lives. You don't care who loses their house. You don't care that people are sleeping in their cars. You don't care that people have to give up plasma to keep the lights on. And you're talking about somebody else's preventing abuse. What? It's this stuff. It's stuff like this that we really need to stop and take a look at what's going on. These people have to be voted out of office, or they will continue this reign of terror on our country. No, I don't live in New York, but you know what? His politics still affect me. What he's doing still affects me and other people around the country. I am tired of our country being held hostage by people who hate America. You hate us. And hate means to love less. So let's just get all that together. You love us less than the evil that you kindly love and appreciate. Because see, you're the same person who said Americans aren't having enough babies and we need illegals here. You said that, Senator Schumer. And you said it outside of the halls of Congress, so you are not protected by the speech and debate clause. You are somebody that I do want put up for treason, along with a few others, because you support an invasion and you are giving them aid and comfort. That is the definition of treason. But treason is really hard to prove because you have to have at least somebody else who can verify that you wanted the plan, if that makes sense. It's like, yeah, he told me this is what he wants to do and wants to carry out. So you do it in a way that's sneaky, right? I got it. But you still support illegal immigration. You still support people being here illegally. So we can still get you on, Title 8, Section 1324, harboring illegal aliens. Well, he's not hiding anybody. He's not hiding anybody. But some of the policies that have been put forth through his legislation, they're supporting hiding people. So it's technical, but I'm just saying we could get him on Title 8, 1324, my opinion. Now, the assessment of claim of validity. So, impact of the shutdown, scope of proposed guardrails on ICE. Yeah, this is somebody, again. So, in summary, Schumer's factual claims about funding, voter fraud, rarity, and legal prohibitions hold up well based on evidence. Okay. His opinions on ICE's character and reform necessity reflect partisan views in a heated debate over immigration enforcement, triggered by recent violence and ahead of the 2026 midterms. The shutdown remains unresolved. So, if this is about the midterms and you're setting yourself up to say, hey, we're trying to protect you guys and we're trying to help you, put us back in office so we can really hold ISIS's feet to the fire. But you're admitting to leveraging other people's lives to do it. And you're still not protecting anybody, by the way. Because again, all of the demands you're making, body cameras, extra training, that takes funding. But you want to hold up the funding because you want to kind of go back to the original fund. Stop. Stop lying to people. Stop using us. Because we can all see it. And like I said, I am pleading with people. If you continue to put individuals like Schumer back in office, you don't care about your own demise. I'm sorry. This has become a moral issue. It is no longer politics as usual. Because they were able to lie to our parents. Our parents didn't know. They weren't able to go in and get the documents. They didn't really care. They were just trusting that the politicians were doing everything right by them until they saw the effects once the policies were put in place. They radicalized people, made sure that people got injured, and now they want to crawl foul. Because see, Immigration Customs Enforcement and Custom and Border Patrol, they handle things in a different manner. Okay. In my opinion, the people of ICE, they're more like a concierge service. They're like, okay, we're gonna get people and we're gonna make sure, that they're okay, and we're gonna be really kind and nice to them. Where Customs and Border Patrol, no, we just gonna tackle you down. You're not gonna do that. They're not the concierge service. I'm just saying. Because, see, they're used to dealing with, like, the coyotes at the border. They're not rap type, okay? Some of them are ex-military. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying they are not, gentle. They're into, like, kicking butt, taking names, and I'll say sorry later. That's who they are. And you want, everybody to be nice about an invasion that's your fault. Oh, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about how this is your fault, Schumer, and every other Democrat and Republican that allowed our borders to be overrun and overtaken on this last administration. I don't care. You caused this problem, and now you're fighting to put in place a measure that's worse than the problem it's trying to solve. You caused the problem. And now you still want us voting for our own demise. We need to stop this. This is not a good relationship. This is abusive. And I will continue to say that about the state of our government right now. It's abusive. And Republicans, I'm not letting you off the hook, because a lot of y'all are going along with this too. You are. But Democratic Party, we see you. You don't care. You don't care who you hurt. You don't care who gets thrown out on the street. You don't care. But as long as the illegals stay here, you're good. Because see, you gave them money. You gave them housing. You gave them clothing. You gave them food. You walked over veterans on the street, and Americans put out to give it to people who never paid a dime of taxes. But then you want to turn them, well, they're paying taxes. They work here too. They shouldn't be here illegally. And I'm talking about the people that have been here, 20, 30 years illegally. That's a failed immigration system. It's failing. It's not prospering anybody. No, but the only people prospering are the people in the halls of Congress. Okay? That are writing legislation to support these corporations to keep these people here illegally so they don't have to pay them. You're driving down our wages. You're making money at over 2,400% above the American people. You don't own any businesses. You don't make anything. You are not supporting the economy. But yet you're at over 2,400% over the net worth of the average American. There's a problem here. And it is time to rewrite the ship. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It is really time for us to take a step back as Americans and say, what are we not doing that we need to do? What is it that we need to really start looking at? Okay. Again, this is why I started the Redemption Party, the USA Redemption Party. Got to separate them. Got to say it right. I started the USA Redemption Party when I ran for president of the United States because I wanted to give candidates the opportunity to actually serve the people, not be politicians, but to actually serve the American public. So if there's somebody out there that wants to run for office, because right now I got two people running for major seats, one for the mayor of Chicago and the other one for the governor of New York. That race is coming on heavy, and it's going to happen. We need a governor in New York that is not going to go along with this nonsense going on in New York City and shut it down. That call to prayer needs to be illegal in the state of New York forever. Not just an executive order so it can be overturned and rewritten later on. No, it needs to be shut down forever. If you want to do that call to prayer inside your building, that's fine. Because that's inside your building. That's encapsulated. That's, that's within your religion. But when you are doing it outside and making everybody a part of your thing, no. That needs to stop. But we have somebody running for governor. So I implore you to go to usaredemptionparty.com and start donating to the party so we can put people in office that actually want to do right by others. Is this country perfect? Absolutely not. Are the people in the country perfect? Oh, goodness, no. But there are people that want to do right by their fellow man the best they can. And, I don't think that every single Democrat despises America. I don't think so. Because Fetterman is a perfect example. But you don't hear from them. because the media wants you to believe and think that the whole Democratic Party is on, they're okay with this. I'm telling you, there are Democrats that are not okay with this. They don't want to see the country headed in this direction, but their voices are drowned out by these other people making these outrageous demands on the country. We need to amplify people that are doing good and who want us to be safe. And we need better people in office. Regardless of the letter on your name, when you walk into that chamber, it is your responsibility to make sure that the people of this country are taken care of. And that is what has been forgotten. They are so into just being against one another that they have forgotten we, the people, put them there. What is wrong with you? You're supporting people chopping themselves up to be happy? No. And children at that. Okay. Subject for a different day. And y'all have heard me talk about it on this show. And it's sad and it shouldn't be happening. It should not be happening. But that's where we are. And it needs to stop, and it stops with our votes. It stops when we are no longer enabling bad behavior. Again, this is an abusive relationship, and we are super codependents. Well, if we just, maybe tell them what we want, they're gonna. No, they're not. Okay? So stop enabling bad behavior. Stop being that codependent. It's not going to get better until people see, oh, the people of this country, they are shutting it down. Yep. We are no longer going to have people in either one of these parties leading because you're not leading. You don't care. Schumer said he's going to leverage the lives of people because it's about the party. It's not about the people. Okay? With Democrats and Republicans, about their party. It's not about the people. And that's what I want it to be different about the USA Redemption Party. It's about the people. It's not about the party. I want candidates in there that serve. Our country is in a mess right now. And it will continue to devolve into a mess as long as we keep saying, party, party, party. I created this party so that I can be in the process, right? But I wanted to have people focused on serving, okay? The party is focused on fiscal responsibility, limiting federal government to empower local government one community at a time. That is how we get there. But we have to get these candidates in office. And we have to remove people like Senator Schumer from the reign of terror on this nation. It is a reign of terror. Because you got, who was it? Allegedly, even though there's a video out there, I'm not showing this video. That's why I'm saying allegedly. Mr. Wu, Representative Wu in Texas, talking about all the immigrants and people of color, they need to band together. No, we're not banding with you, sir. Shutting that down. Stop that. You made your bed, not lie in it. You're a disgrace right now as a representative calling for that kind of mess. I'm calling for people to serve. You're calling for outright chaos. Stop it. It's not how we get there. It's just some of these people there, like I said, they're just so focused on party. They've lost their way. They really, truly, truly have. And we can do better than that. We're better than this as a country, as a people. So with that, we're going to end the broadcast for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. Tomorrow, we will have Tell It All Tuesday. I will make sure to do my best to post the stream for tomorrow. Hopefully I won't have to go through what I went through this morning and repost in my own stream. It's just weird, but I had to let you guys know that, hey, I'm here. And the show does exist. Like I said, for some reason, I don't know what's going on with Evie Mux, but I got to check out how to make sure that my post is on X and you guys can actually see it. So again, thank you so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. We will be back tomorrow with Tell It All Tuesday. So remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.